All right, I have complete beach hair, do not care. Well, kind of. I got an important message about the true integration of a shadow. So when we do shadow work and we're integrating an aspect of our psyche, we're integrating a part of ourselves, you know, like you might have known, like if you get triggered about something, it's, you know, like something inside of you, a trauma, you know, is coming up for healing, coming up for integration. And I want to talk about this phenomenon of the true understanding of the integration of a shadow. It takes about 3 years to really integrate. Like if you're really integrating a shadow, a particular aspect of your psyche, if you're really growing, it takes 3 years. And I want to give you some examples because I've seen this happen with myself. I had it happen again this morning. It happened to me a couple of years ago. It happened with a client just recently, and I feel really called to share this because it's a very interesting phenomenon. It just seemed like it's a thing, okay? Let me share this with you. I've got beach hair, and I say I don't care, but I kind of do. I did not plan to do a live stream at the beach today. I brought it just in case because my intuition was like, just take the damn thing. Just take the tripod. And so I listened, but yeah, my hair and no hat and whatevers, so whatevers. Anyway, because I did something really huge this morning. It was very, very significant. It was massively life-changing. It's big. So let me know how you guys are feeling. I'm just calming myself after a little rant that I just posted on my personal page, and I don't want to speak about it right now, but I just can't. I just can't. Whatevers. But we're talking about the integration of shadow right now. So let me just pop this in the group as I share this. And one more place. So, also, my 2022 personal psychic forecast, I got the message in the ocean today that I will only have that open until the beginning of December because I don't want to be doing people's psychic readings over my Christmas lunch, so to speak. So, yeah, you've only got about another month or so to get in for your 2022 personal psychic forecast, if that's calling you. And I've just got like salty eyes and hair and all sorts of things. Okay. So, hey, beautifuls. Hello. People joining, saying hi. Okay. So let's talk about this true integration of a shadow. And I trust that you'll tell me if it's too windy. I'm kind of hiding the microphone behind the wind's like quite blowing. And I almost didn't do it. I almost was like, oh, I'll do it later. And I'm like, no, just sit down and do the freaking live stream. So, I'll start by sharing the huge significant thing that happened to me this morning, that I did this morning. It was a massive, massive shift. It was a massive, it's just huge, right? It's so massive. So for a little bit of context about what I'm going to tell you, so for those of you who don't know, from New Zealand. I just sent all this stuff to New Zealand. That's where I'm going to talk about this morning, right? So you guys might have heard me talk about this shipping container that last year I put all my stuff in a shipping container and got in a car and went on a 5-month road trip, right? So in essence to that, when my daughter's father moved to New Zealand, gosh, it'd be about 5 years ago now, he got a shipping container and he did have a lot of stuff in there. Over the years, he got like a lot of stuff shipped over, but there was still a little bit of his stuff in there. And the rest of the stuff is in there is Adea's toys. Adea's toys and her baby clothes from when she was a baby, like all her clothes. Like he doesn't want to get rid of anything, right? And I'm like, oh my God, so many kids could use this stuff right now. I've got like stuff all over me. Sorry, guys. And so, all right, conscious of I don't know if that's going to make a difference. I'm just going to, hang on a second. I'm just going to put this on. I forgot my hat today, and I can just feel the thing's going to get hot in the sun, so I'm trying to put some sort of cover on it. I don't know that's going to work. Whatever's. Okay. It's not going to work. All right, I'll just talk fast. Just talk. A little bit nervous talking about this, but I don't know why. Anyway, so he had all the stuff is in the storage shed as a day, his toys, clothes. If you've seen some of my stories at some point, if you've seen the teddy collection we've got, that's only part of the teddy collection in the house. The rest is in storage. Like, there's so much stuff in storage, right? He doesn't want to get rid of anything because he just is like, well, when she has a baby, then, you know, it's all there for her. And I'm like, man, she's 12. And I'm worried about it all going moldy and, you know, whatever. I mean, I've got those things in there and whatever, but it's just like, how long does stuff store for, right? Anyway, the point is that he had like a couple of toolboxes and stuff and, you know, like just a couple of personal items, like boxes, and that's it. Like, the rest is just, you know, a big shipping container is just full of toys. Anyway, so I'd been wanting to clear it out again because I'm worried about it going moldy and whatever, and, you know, anyway, it just kept getting put off, and finally he wants the stuff sent over, his tool chest and whatever. So this morning, after years, this morning I literally was met the removalist there and, you know, shipping it overseas. Now, what's really interesting, okay, is I'm just doing my thing, and I got there this morning, you know, in the, you know, storage shipping yard thing. And, you know, I'm just doing my thing, and after a while, like packing stuff up and whatever, and because I was waiting for my truck to arrive, right? And after a while, like, I could hear there was another truck and people moving stuff out in like another container around the corner, and I saw it when I pulled up originally. And after a while, like, I could hear like arguing or I thought it was, and so I paused my music. So I always have music on when I'm doing it, anything. Right? Music just makes me do everything. And I paused the music, and I was like, is that yelling? And I could see other people like coming out across the road and stuff, and I'm like, oh, like it just sounded almost like someone was on like a megaphone or microphone thing, and I was like, oh, because it's like industrial area, and I was like, oh, maybe the music's up. I was just like, oh, and then I'm like, should I walk around the corner? Like, and I was like packing stuff, and, you know, so, and I was like, you know, sort of in a rush because like my truck was about to arrive and I had a bit more to do before they got there and whatever, and so I was like, oh, is it arguing? I don't know. Like, you know, it was like yelling, like, you know, man yelling sort of voice. But I'm like, oh, maybe it's a microphone or megaphone, or I'm in an industrial area. There's lots of workmen around. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like, Anyway, I kind of like brushed it off, and I kept packing, and I could hear it, and I was like, and then I just let it go. Anyway, not long after that, like my, you know, removalist truck guy turned up, and anyway, so just, you know, got in kept going, and the removalist truck came and put it in. And as we were like, you know, they're packing everything in the truck, I heard them like sort of talking about it. And I said to them, I was like, oh, are you talking about the yelling just before? Like before you guys got here? And they're like, yeah, there was like a full argument, and the guy, you know, like, and I was like, oh my God, I did hear that. And so apparently the other removalist truck guy with the other people were on the other side, like, the removalist guy ended up losing his shit, like, and like was in the face of like the woman, like it was like an older elderly couple, like I saw them when I drove in and spoke to them, and like he's like yelling in their face, and like, you know, and like it was going on for a fair bit. Like I said, I was like gonna walk around, and I was like, oh, because you know, if it was yelling, I did and I didn't. I was like, whatever sort of thing. Anyway, and I was like shocked, and I was also like, that's a really big deal. So back to that little section in a minute. The guy ended up, you know, driving out and sort of spoke to us on the way out, and I was just like, wow. And I said, you know, I was like, all that's on surveillance camera because it's all, you know, security camera storage place. I said, you need to like contact them, get that surveillance, take it to the police, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's not okay. And anyway, after that in myself, I was just like, wow, that is so significant. And it's so significant to the true integration of a shadow. So a little side note, right now I'm very grateful for my daughter's father. You know, like I separated from him when my daughter was 3 months of age. I've been on my own with her since she was 3 months of age. You know, we've had our fair share of domestic violence. We've been to court twice, once when I was pregnant, you know, and then again when she was a little bit older. You know, when Adea was about 5 to 6, it kind of was okay. And when she was 7, he moved to New Zealand. So we kind of like, you know, like we worked through things, you know, over time, 7 to 8 years. of like, you know, understanding each other in a way, you know, like we don't really experience that between each other anymore, you know, like, but it's taken many, many years to get to that point. So, you know, and over the whole time he's been very supportive to her. He's always, you know, done the right thing, cared for her, etc., etc. So just want to say that about him. And what I'm saying is not a, like, you know, derogatory on him or anything like that, but it was so significant to the true integration of a shadow, because here I am after, you know, what, my daughter's 12 now, after 12 years, finally getting his stuff out of the storage shed, like, you know, just the last little bits of it, that I didn't realize had been like energetically weighing me down in a way. And it's his shipping container ultimately, you know, with all her stuff in it as well, but I look after it because he's not here, right? And it was just so significant. Here I am packing the last of his stuff up on the truck. Meanwhile, there's a full domestic violence situation going on right around the corner that I was like, am I hearing that? But I wasn't drawn to going. I did think about walking around there, but I didn't. And for me, that was so significant, because when we talk about the true integration of a shadow, sure, we can do like shadow work and then literally like, you know, like we do an integration, we do a meditation and cool, we integrated it, right? But then there's like a physical representation of that trigger. There's a physical representation of that aspect of your psyche that then like moves out of your being, right? And little side note, this is really interesting because we literally just finished ear chakra consciousness like on freaking Monday. I think it was, yeah, Monday. And now we're in the throat chakra consciousness, and now this is coming out as well, like we're about to start throat chakra consciousness in the inner circle in Transcendence Reality Society. So if you guys have followed me, you know every year I do like the chakra journey, and we do 9 weeks, and we're like just, you know, I just do a live stream about it, and publicly you guys get a little bit of information about it. In Transcendence Reality Society, I go into like advanced trainings. Like in the ear chakra consciousness, we just did 10 trainings, 10 live trainings over Zoom, going deep into the chakra consciousness over the past few weeks. We just finished that on Monday. Now we move to the throat. Now this happens, and it's like true integration of the shadow, true integration of the darkness, true integration of, you know, like we can do personal development work and we do all this inner work on ourselves. And then there's a part where the true integration happens and the shift. And I've noticed over the years with myself and my clients, it's a 3-year integration portal. Now, the significance of that domestic violence situation happening around the corner that I heard, it was literally just outside my field. Like, I don't know meters, but maybe 50 meters. I don't know. It was literally like down the rest of the storage containers and walk around the corner. Like, it was just over there. And this is really significant, okay? Because the same thing happened with my client just recently. And like, she had this experience of like this reaction, and it was just over there as well. Do you know what I mean? And the reason I'm saying that is because, okay, so then the other example is a couple of years ago, I was on the beach. I came to the beach. I'm like, everybody leave me the fuck alone. There was no one here. I was like, I just need to process some stuff. I was in my stuff, right? Just give me a break. I was sunbaking. This dude, like, literally, like, ran down. Like, I've never seen anything like it. He, like, ran down from the entrance, you know, sort of thing. Ran down to the beach. Did, like, these, like, cartwheel flip things, like, into the ocean. And I was just like, it looked like a bouncing, jumping jack. Like, it was a man. Like, he was just, like, bouncing around and flicking in the water. And I was just like, oh, my God, that dude's got so much energy. And then he, like, I could see him looking at me, and like, you know, when my sunnies on, I'm just like, hey, don't come and talk to me. Like, I was not in a mood. Anyway, and then eventually he bounced up. Like, I don't know, his energy was just this bounce. I was just like, what the fuck is this? And so he like bounced up, and then he's like talking to me, and I'm just like not in a mood for talking. And after a while, he knew that. And then like, you know, whatever we talked about. And then he like sort of like literally like bounced away and then like bounced and ran in and did these flips in the water and shit. And I was just like, oh my God, what the hell? And it was the same sort of thing. It was like, wow, that's how my energy used to be. That's how I used to feel and like be. Like, it was like a direct representation of me. And I just shifted out of that, you know, like out of the being ungrounded, out of the like running, you know, in a deep sense of trauma. Like, you know, like just that high, like ungrounded, like all the time. Like, and I just been working on that at that time. And I was like, wow, that's that was a confirmation that that's just shifted out of me. And again, it was just over there. Like and it's so significant. And so I feel really called to share this because my client had something similar, then I just experienced it as well. And I just feel like it's important we can continually do the work, and we do the work, and we turn up and we do whatever we need to do, when we need to do it, how we need to do it, with all the pieces. And it's like when we've truly integrated something, we get that confirmation and direct, like it's literally like just over there. We don't usually feel very triggered about it. We're just like, oh, that's really interesting that that's happened. And it's like we have this deep conscious awareness of like, wow, like I used to be in that. I used to be that. Like, wow, I don't have the same feeling and reaction about that. Like, it's really interesting and significant, right? So I feel like there's like a big crescendo to like, now I've finished talking about what I want to talk about. But I guess I'm just sharing that because we can do shadow work, and it's important to do shadow work, but I feel like you get the confirmation when something is physically no longer a part of your psyche. So this is the other part, right? So we can do a shadow meditation, so important. It's free, my Clear and Activate pack, by the way. So if you go to realityawareness.com, and then there's the Clear and Activate pack on the pink button, you'll see it. I've got my free shadow meditation in there. I think it's on my Facebook page just recently as well. There's a shadow meditation in there. It's free. The reason I'm giving it for free is because it's very powerful work, and right now people need shadow work. It's how we deal with our triggers, etc., etc. It's a deeper layer of consciousness, etc. So no excuses. It's free. It's there. We do our shadow meditation, right? We integrate that psyche, and then it gets to a point where there's layers of it then being a physical representation and it fully shifting out, because we can integrate it, we feel it, and then we don't sort of experience it for a while, like, you know what I mean? Like, we become whole. We're like, oh, we understand that's what the trigger was. Okay, fully integrated. We feel different. We feel normal, etc., etc. now. And then, like, you know, and then that sort of like sits in our energy field. Like, we've integrated that. We've done a lot of work on that trauma, that piece, that blah, 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 that is reflective of that, you know, shadow aspect, that trigger, blah, blah, blah. And it sits there in our energy field. We're like, cool, we're good, right? We're in wholeness. We're not triggered again. We're back to wholeness, right? And then it's like, you know, and this is what I always say, when we do energetic work, we work on a trauma that's sitting in our energy field, right, in our aura. So we've got layers of our, you know, our body's not just our physical body. We've got this bubble of energy around us, right? You guys will know if you're in a lineup or something and somebody, you know, stands too close to you, like, I can feel it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, you're in my energy field. Like, you can feel that sort of thing, right? And so, you know, like when we heal that, well, it heals that and it's back to wholeness, and then it kind of like will sink down through the layers and hit your physical body, and that's where you have like physical, some people have like physical detoxes and regurgitations of energy, or like, oh, it feels sick or whatever like that. Like, it's a detox, right? It comes into the body. People over time physically change doing all this sort of work because they're integrating, and their whole energy and demeanor changes, so their physical body is affected and changes too, right? And so when we look at that deeply hitting the physical body, it's like, you know, like when I feel like that's a 3-year process, sure, we can do faster timelines, etc. I do believe that. At the same time, it's usually a 3-year healing cycle that it really like pops the bubble of reality into another sphere of reality, that you're actually living all the things that you've done the work for, right? So this 3-year cycle, and I feel like that the confirmation of that is when it hits your physical body and you come to another level of wholeness in the physical body. That's when you get the physical reflection, like the exact same example that I gave this morning. Like, that DV was happening literally around the corner as I was like putting the stuff onto the truck. It was like, I'm done with this cycle. I've integrated it in my being. I'm definitely a different person. I'm looking forward to actually putting it into practice in a relationship consciously with somebody, like just the new awareness and who I am, right? Like, I'm ready for a conscious relationship. I'm ready for a conscious man. I've declared that. That's what I'm waiting for. I won't settle for anything less than a conscious relationship. I'm very, very clear about that. And, you know, and I declared that a couple of weeks ago, I think, even on a live stream or blog or whatever. And now these like real physical like shifts are are happening. Like, that is such a confirmation that I'm just like, wow. And so I needed to live stream about this to really, like, I want to say, don't give up on doing the work. It might seem like it's not working, right? But the work works when you work it, but it's a consistent evolution. It's a constant evolution. It's just like the waves of the ocean are always there, right? We can always go surfing. We can always go in the water, whatever. And it's like doing the work is a constant wave. It's a constant evolution, right? There's always layers at every layer. There's always layers at every level. And when we continue to do that work, you know, like I think it's like 7 years or something that your body and your cells change when you eat a specific diet and you know, detox from something. It takes 7 years and you've got a whole new body. Like, it takes time, right? We're in a dimension that, you know, works on time. And, you know, in this dimension, it takes 3 years to truly integrate a shadow. So I really wanted to share that. I know this is pretty deep. What I've spoken about on here is pretty deep today. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Pop it in the comments. If you're watching the replay, I'll come back to the comments. I did get to the beach today. I'm so grateful, but I can feel I'm getting a little bit burnt. I'm so grateful my phone hasn't overheated yet as well. So what I did talk about, like I said, is quite deep. Yeah, it's a deep level of consciousness what I'm talking about today, and it is the throat chakra consciousness. We will be starting the throat chakra consciousness journey very soon, so keep your eyes out for that. I will drop that soon. In my 2022 personal psychic forecast, I got the message in the ocean just before when I had a swim. It will only be available until the beginning of December. Yeah, so it'll be the last chance. So then I've got time to get all the readings done for you guys before 2022. So if you've got any questions, comment below. Keep your eyes peeled for the throat chakra consciousness journey about to begin soon, and I shall see you very, very soon. So Sheila says, what do you recommend to start shadow work? Where do I begin? Awesome question. So in my Clear and Activate pack, it's my free meditation pack. So if you go to realityawareness.com, you'll see it. The first thing on the page should be roughly is the Clear and Activate pack. It's a pink button. And if you click on that, it'll take you to the page of the Clear and Activate pack. You just need to exchange your email, and you can log in to my members website. You'll get access. Yeah, you just got it. Yeah, perfect. And so in there, so if you have trouble logging in, just send me a message or email support@realityawareness.com, and my team will get onto that for you, help you get in there. There is like some training videos, and I highly recommend taking time to watch them because it will help explain it all. And I'm very passionate about helping you to understand how to use it the best way, and then also how to use it by not having to sit there and meditate to do it. Like, we can do it real time. Like, I'm passionate that we're intuitive all the time. That doesn't switch off. And so what I'm passionate about training you guys is to do it real time. Do it, you know, when you're in the kitchen or whatever, so that, you know, because we're always intuitive, that never switches off. So we need to learn the tools to know how to process our intuition real time as well, yeah? So make sure you watch the training videos in there. Speaking of training, Trust Intuition doors are open as well. And this is, Trust Intuition is like where you get everything, right? I teach everything in Trust Intuition. And basically, like, we really, you know, I was talking about the trauma before on this this live stream, right? The trauma sits here in our field, and we're just living a reality like through the trauma, basically. And you have to remember, trauma doesn't have to mean some big raping happened or something. It can just be like a breakup, a relationship breakup, or a past life trauma or whatever happened, right? And that just sits in our energy field. So in Trust the Intuition, we go deep in actually shifting, healing, clearing the traumas so that your intuition becomes lighter and clearer, because we can get clear intuition by, you know, meditating and strengthening our muscles, and that's so important. But the most clearest, accurate, connected intuition comes from not having the trauma sitting here as a filter, yeah? And so when the trauma is released, our intuition is clearer, yeah? So Trust the Intuition doors are open. We start the training not until February next year. And I got the date, the 22nd of February. So the 22nd of the 2nd, 2022. For some reason, it's all those twos. And I just realized now, I'm like, February is also a 2. So 22 to 2022 is when we start the training. The reason I got the message to open the doors now is because the early bird is open now. The price and the investment will increase for Trust Intuition on the 1st of December. So if that's ever called you, I'm only going to run Trust Intuition once a year now as well. So you've been seeing the twos, yeah, amazing. So yeah, I'm only going to run Trust Intuition once a year. So this will be like the round to get in for 2022, because it's only going to be a once a year thing now. So so the link is on my page as well, or send me a message. You can find that on my website as well. If you've got any questions about Trust Intuition, comment below or send me a message. We can have a chat about it. You'll know if that calls you. It is Trust Intuition to become a certified intuitive healer. You don't have to do the certification if you don't want to, but you've got the option there at a later time. You might be like, oh my God, I need to do that now, right? And it's there. So we are training as if we are, going for the certification, because at the end of the day, like I was saying, our intuition doesn't switch off. And whether we're talking to a friend or a family member or a random person on the street, you're doing your intuitive healing. And it's important to understand, I want to say the business aspect, but it's also boundaries. It's also how to be intuitive without being bombarded and flawed and all the things that go along with just our intuition being switched on all the freaking time, because we are our intuition. All right, I shall see you guys really soon. Love you. Keeping it real as always.